What's going on, guys? And today we got Mr. Alan Liu. Like, I've been wanting to get this guy on the channel for so long. The guy's got the secret sauce here with Jiren. I can't wait to sink my teeth into this with him, go through it, and see all the nice details through this deck. He came third at this a couple weeks ago for Nationals, the championships. And tell you what, like, I'm keen. I'm excited. Let's just jump in. Without ado, man, take us away.
Yeah, so I played Jiren for this Nationals. I think it's a super underrated and slept on deck, especially with the new anniversary support that it got.
Yeah.
So this is quite an old leader. Just to briefly go over what the leader does, it has a activate main on the front side. You take a life, look at top 7 cards from your deck, play a U11 from among them with the cost of 1 rested, and then shuffle your deck. So that's like your main source of draw on the front side. You awaken at 4 less life, and you have an order which says when your opponent attacks, you can Spirit Boost 1, and essentially evolve a card on your opponent's turn. So that's pretty important for setting up the plays of a lot of this deck's plays and getting value. And on the backside, you still have the same Spirit Boost. You have a limit to order that says when you evolve during your turn, you gain 5k power. So it's really easy to get this guy to be a 25k base leader. And the standard when this card attacks, you draw 1 card.
Cool.
So just going through the deck itself, we've got to start off with the 4 Topo Unison and the 1 Yamcha. So this Topo Unison, it's a hard and solid the deck. It as from the previous days, back in the days, it was kind of like a unit, like it was 1 cost Unison, 5k power, a little bit weak. When you gain a marker, so when you evolve, you gain 5k power and gain a marker, and has a +1 that you can play a 1 cost Jiren from your hand in rest mode at the end of the turn. Um, and you have a -7 ability that says if your opponent has 3 or more life, you can burn them 1 damage. You deal them 1 damage, which essentially means you can pretty easily put your opponent down to 2 life. So and Yamcha is the one of Unison counterplay that if you're playing Unison, you have to play Yamcha. It's an amazing card. So this Topo Unison kind of just gains like 2 markers a turn. But then with one of the new support cards, it gets pretty crazy with the amount of markers it can gain. And then it normally gains about 4 markers a turn. 4 on your turn, 3 on your opponent's turn. So it's like it's pretty easy. Sorry, it gains, yeah, 4 on your turn, and yeah, sorry, and 2 on your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's pretty easily you're pretty easily hitting the -7, and getting the burn if you need to. Also, the +1 is pretty synergistic with the leader skill, so because you play a 1 cost Jiren from your hand in rest mode, and then your leader Spirit Boost can just allow you to evolve that and trigger evolves on your opponent's turn.
And that's huge, right?
Um,
Like, was there any chance, looking back on previous profiles that I've seen before and because I used to play Jiren a lot, was there times where you
mm,
thought about playing without the Unison, or was it just Unison was always a must?
uh, I think I think there was a time like before the anniversary box support came out that I did consider like maybe like the Gogeta Unison, but
Yeah.
I guess with the anniversary box, this you get the most benefit from playing this Unison,
Yep.
and because Unison gets a crazy amount of markers from one of the support cards, and honestly, there's also a Z deck card that requires this Unison, and can help you do some really nasty things like restand and 8 drop. So your 8 drop essentially becomes like a triple attacker, double strike, 35k
Yeah.
double strike. So
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, it's really reliant on this Unison now. So that's why when we play it at 4, you always want to see this guy by at least turn 2. I normally play this guy on turn 2
Yeah.
anyway.
Full
So
full value, 100%.
yeah, it's a, and then to go with the June 1 drops, these are the main boys you evolve on. So we play 11 of these 1 drops. You have to play a respectable number of 1 drops just to ensure that you don't whiff off the leader's skill. And generally, these are the 1 drops that you're evolving on. So you do want to see them a lot of the time. Um, so what they do is this one's probably the best one because this is an on play. It's a top 5 search for any Jiren or 1 cost Unison. So it just helps you find your evolves, helps you find your Zenith if you need to, and helps you find this which is really important. Then the second one, this is the TP Jiren, which says on play you can choose to draw one. If you don't choose to draw one, you can play this you can play Unison out with one marker on it. So this thing is I run this one at 4 because sometimes it's just important that you play the Unison out for free just so you save an energy and you have the energy for other plays. So this is just like important if you I guess like if you have the new support card which is Dispo, and on turn one if you either have like if you have a Unison in hand and either Dispo or Tempered Form, and your leader skill sees the top seven, finds the other one in the top seven, so you play one and then you play this one, free play the Unison, and then you can trigger the evolve and then like stack the draws, and then put your units up to 5 markers straight away, which makes it very safe. And essentially, it won't die from there. So that's like your ideal turn one play, and that takes advantage of this that takes advantage of the free play of this.
Yeah.
But most of the time, this will draw one because in a way the main reason for the free play it's a bit neg on the hand, so you'd only want to free play if you really need to save that energy, otherwise because you need to maximize the value, you need to maximize your resources and just focus on drawing because the deck's hand size, I guess the deck's defenses are a little bit thin, so you want to maximize your hand size to circumvent that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It also has a secondary effect where you can warp him from the drop, give your Unison a marker. It can come up. If you have too many one cost Jirens in the drop, you just warp this and then give it a marker. It definitely helps. And then this one is also really important. This one comes up more in the mid game. It's still an on play draw one, and then it has a limit one skill where you can bottom deck it from the drop area and discard one card from hand to search a deck for a 5 cost or less Jiren with evolve. So this is just really important for finding your finding the Jirens that can evolve in case you just don't have it in your hand. So it's a nice consistency piece. I only run this as a 3 of because its effect comes up like you don't need the effect straight away, most likely because you will probably see an evolve like a 4 cost or 5 cost Jiren with evolve early game, but it just comes up helps in the middle or late game where you need to dig for more. And then going on to the evolves. So I'm the 4 cost and 5 cost Jirens, which are searchable from this one drop here. I'm just running all of the free evolves from this deck. So I've decided to cut out on the 19k dual attack of 5 cost Jiren. I think the stat line is for me is not worth the energy that you spend on it.
Okay, I was going to ask
It,
about that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think as a 90k dual attacker, it's just like those stats aren't impressive enough, and a lot of the times I want to be evolving as much as I can just to take advantage of Dispo and some other cards in the deck.
Okay.
And a lot of the time because I want to evolve on my turn, I want to evolve on my opponent's turn, I want to do it for free. I don't want to spend an energy on it. So that's why I've just decided to go all out on these free evolves. And in a way, like one energy kind of gets you a 19k anyway. So if you free evolve, you get like like a 19k body or a 15k body, and then with that one energy, you can probably get like another 90k or 15k body pretty easily. So like
Yeah.
the math kind of works out similarly in that regard. So just going through these Jirens, this is an old Jiren from set 14. It can EX evolve on a Jiren that costs 1. The EX evolve is not limit 1, but the on play order is where if you evolve, you draw on a negative battle card by 10k. That's limit 1. This is the new, I think it was one of the premium pack promos. This one is pretty. It's not as good as this one, but it's a 19k body. This one the EX evolve on this Jiren is actually limit 1, so you can only attempt to evolve this one once. On play draw 1. So these two essentially replace themselves because you -1 by attempting to evolve it, and they draw 1, so they replace themselves. And has activate main which rarely comes up. It says it's activate main limit 1. You can put him in the drop, and then play a 1 cost Jiren from your drop in rest mode. So that's like normally pretty bad because you're like sacking a body and then getting a Jiren in rest mode, which is like not ideal because your opponent can just swing into it. The only situation where this does come up is if you don't have a way to get another, like, it's normally if you have a Unison out, so because you have a Unison out, and you really need to get like another one cost Jiren on board to just evolve on to trigger evolve and take advantage on some cards, and you don't have a way to get it on board, as in like you're missing one in hand, so you can just put this in the drop, get this one out, and then when your opponent attacks next turn, you like you get the free evolve, and then you can trigger the evolve on your opponent's turn.
Which is what I love, and and that's full value there. I mean, with all the
Yeah.
like, I didn't mind that 4 cost during that expansion one that you're running four
Mm.
of. Like, I felt when
Yeah.
that got brought out in the packs, it was very underrated, the card. Um,
Mm.
but that was even having said that with the promo as well, the tournament pack promo, that 5 cost.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good one too. I felt like that's a good searcher if you didn't have everything that you needed for your tools.
Yeah.
But anyway, leaving it back to you.
Yeah, and then this is the last Jiren I run. This one I run as a one of because it's unlike these two. This one doesn't replace itself. This one's actually a -1 in hand because these two draw one. This one is a top 7 search for a red U11,
Mm,
and if you added a card to hand, you bottom deck one from hand. So it's actually a -1 from hand. Um, but his effect does like if you need to search things like just like an evolve, a Jiren, like a Zenith, then it can come in handy for that. And it's also searchable from this one cost Jiren here. So it's so if you need to, you can go into it pretty easily.
yep.
All right, and then the big boss monster of the deck, sorry, Jiren Zenith of Power. Um, Yeah, so this guy, you play him when you have 3 or more energy. He evolves for 2 energy on top of a Jiren that costs 4 or 5. So you can bring this out on your turn 3. Um, when you play him, you neg something by 35k ignoring barrier, and you can't play non-universal level battle cards for the turn. This barrier removal is like, I think this is what sets Jiren apart from other red decks. Like red really struggles with barrier, and Jiren like just has like barrier removal built into your boss monsters, which is amazing. It helps you deal with a lot of yellows, like
Mm,
a lot of the U7 Goku's like random barrier stuff, which is so annoying for other red decks to clear. So that's really handy. And it has this guy's essentially like as a standler, he's essentially a dual attacker where he has to activate main once per turn. You can remove a card put a card from underneath him into the drop, restand him, and give your leader 5k power. So this guy's a 35k double strike dual attack is essentially the 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 turn he comes out.
yep.
Yeah, pretty crazy
Such a
boss
great,
monster.
such a great card. That card, I love it. I've won off the back of so many games with
Um,
that.
yeah, it's nuts. We play 4 copies of Jiren Pride of Universe 11. So this you discard it from hand, play 2 Universe 11 that cost, I think it's that within 2 Universe 11 that cost 1 with their skills negated for the turn.
Yeah.
Um, so this is really important. It just gets you your like it gives Jiren like actually true free play where you can just like free play these like these one cost Jirens and evolve onto them, and then voila, you have like 1 or 2 for free 15k 19k bodies on the board. Um, it's also great for other the new anniversary support card, which is this dispo here. This dispo is really insane for the deck. It helps Jiren gain a lot of value and draw power that enables it to keep up with a lot of other decks. So this dispo says limit 1 when you I think it says when your red Jiren with evolve is played, you draw 1 card and add 2 markers to your unison. So this triggers on both players' turn. So the great thing with this dispo is that like you evolve on your turn. It's probably a -1 to play in from hand or from deck. But if you evolve on your turn, it refunds itself on your opponent's turn. It's a true +1, and then each turn is 6. It just keeps gaining value, and um, it also has an activate battle where you can combo with the card from underneath the Jiren. That's pretty handy for building up Z energy, as well as just getting extra combo power. Because a lot of times you have like a lot of Jirens floating on board, and you can just like use cards underneath them, which is really cool. So the reason Pride is really cool is that like even if your opponent kills your dispo, you can just be like, cool, I'll Pride like bring back one of these Jiren one drops, bring back this dispo, and then if you have your Unison set up and go into your opponent's next turn, essentially on like Pride will negate the skills for the turn, but the skills will come back during your opponent's turn. So when your opponent this thing and then this one will go off and you just start acting like crazy.
Man,
So
that
and
dispo's
then
busted.
it, it really is. It needs to be like but then
Yeah.
but because of Universe 11, it's like it's really easy to bring back, and just it just keeps getting value because you it's really hard to like stamp out completely unless you're playing black and can manage to warp it.
Yeah.
And this is the other anniversary card that's really crazy for the deck as well. So this is a really nuts card, Pan Grandfather Strength. You can play it for 1 red if you or your opponent have a battle card with 15k, 1000 power or more in play. And has a really cool limit 1 order, which says when one of your cards is increased by a skill, you draw 1 card and neg one of your opponent's card by 20,000 power. So the way you trigger this card is with Topper Unison. So so on your turn, it's on your turn, you can trigger if you're on the front side, you can only trigger with Topper Unison. So when you evolve, you draw one. Topper gains a marker and 5,000 power, so that will trigger Pan to draw one and neg something by for 20,000 power. So on your turn, it's really handy for removal. Really handy for like maintaining draws. It's essentially like another copy of Dispo almost because it's essentially says when you evolve, you draw 1 card and neg something 20,000 power. Uh, you can also trigger it off the leader's backside where the leader's limit 2 when you evolve gains 5,000 power will also trigger this. And on your opponent's turn, it's again with the Topper. So if you manage to evolve on your opponent's turn, Topper will gain 5,000 power. This thing will draw 1, neg something 20,000 power, which is really good for disrupting your opponent's plays. Like one of U6's boss monsters is a 6-drop Goku. It's a 30k, no barrier. And a lot of times my opponent like forgot about my pan, so I would just like, cool. Like I'd cool evolve this one, draw a neg 10k, draw a neg 20k, and they're 30k boss monsters. So, and then for the one overarm is we run the Vegeta Heated Fighting Spirit, just 30k on play Warper battle card. I think red. This is probably my preferred overarm in red decks because red decks don't have like red decks have problems, have issues killing cards with like high power levels because it's just like it's a lot of like smaller neg values. So this is just helpful for killing big big boss cards. I'd say. Super combos is 4 Raditz. You really need the filter for the red decks. This Jiren takes itself down to 4 like decently like readily. So this is just best super one for that. And then Pan is the SER of choice. Unfortunately, I think non-Saiyan red decks don't have the best choice of SCRs, and Pan is just it's free. It can be a free floodgate to save you. So yeah, there's not really much else. Not many other SCRs I think you can run for Jiren.
And it's just great to have a 40k beater on the field, and then essentially you can tap one for ability to steal something as well, right? So
For sure,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. I didn't really see how much over the weekend, but because
Yeah.
normally if you play Zenith of Power, you can't play Pan afterwards. So it's no, I'd say I normally hold this for defense.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
really need, I just pan straight away. And then because Jiren's defenses are somewhat fragile, we I just run some negates to like some cards that can help abuse the fact that you have a unison with like a million markers on it. So one is Dispo. This is a free negate. So it's normally a 1 inch negate. If it negates a leader card swing, your opponent can't attack with leaders for the turn, which is only relevant against Mecha Kabura. But otherwise, it's just you can activate the counter skill for free by Spirit Boosting too. So again, free negate's always great. I main one difference of status. I just have one in the main because this is just really good for an emergency. Like it can kill random boss monsters on your opponent's turn that could be very threatening. So that would be like the new 6-drop UI Goku that can like attack a lot of times. So this can you can Spirit Boost 5 insta kill it. Um, you can also do it to Gogeta. You can kill the big boss Aegis monsters.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just handy to have it's just handy to have.
Yeah, I've always
For
loved
sure.
difference of stats. It's always such a great card. I've always ran like 2 or 3 at times as well, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great card. I think I like the less than Dispo because like Dispo's a battle card, so you can combo with it at least. This one,
Yeah, yeah,
um, it needs it's pretty taxing on the Unison because you normally like Spirit Boost like 5 or 6 to just instantly kill something, but your Unison should have enough markers to do that unless you use the burn a bit earlier.
yeah, 100%.
Um, yeah, and then I've got one copy of Violent Rays. This is for the new basically for the new U7 boss monster, the 30k Goku that can attack a lot of times. I've in my testing I found that explosive dance just honestly doesn't cut it against that boss card because
Hmm.
it does like it prevents them from swinging with it like maybe like 6 times, but they can still get through like 2 or 3 attacks, and that's like and those 2 or 3 attacks makes a difference already. Um, and then the other negate run is the new Floodgate Explosive Dance. Uh, in practice, this card has not been as good as it as it initially read because normally your opponent can probably push through a few crucial swings if they really want to. But I will say that combining this with free negates, which is actually like quite good because you deny your opponent the chance to set up their Z energy to push through this floodgate, and then just two block negates, which is just just helpful for Jiren,
Yeah,
especially
testing's always
when
great.
yeah especially when you're like on 5 life on the unawakened side, your opponent might try to like do a sneaky double strike, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then going through the Z deck, one rush attack Vegeta. Never really played it, but actually no, I played it once. Just it can come up especially if you have like 5 or more Z energy, but yeah, it doesn't really. The one Defender of Life. So again, this can be pretty cool with the Topper Unison, where if your opponent's just chilling on 4 life, you can burn them to 3 with this, and then burn them 2 with the Topper Unison, and then you can just like push attempt to swing with this 20k double strike down 2 life. They have to respect it and like negate it or something. And then the new anniversary support Jiren. So this one is pretty crazy. You can do some pretty dumb things with your Zenith of Power. And so this guy's permanence says when you have I think it's the Topper Unison with 4 more markers on it, it becomes a 1 cost. Um, so he's essentially a 1 Z energy card you play from your Z deck. And because he's a 1 cost, it's really important. It means that your 4 drops and 5 drops, these 4 drops and 5 drop Drins can evolve on him. And then he has a activate main battle limit 1. You remove him from underneath a Jiren from the game. You restand a Jiren, any Jiren, I think so. Any Jiren battle card. You restand your Topper Unison and give a blocker. And if you have a Unison with 5 or more markers on it, you neg something by 15,000 power.
So much value.
So yeah, so offensively, it just means you restand. It normally means you restand your Zenith of Power, and I guess like if you're up against like yellow and they reposted you or something, you can restand your Topper Unison and then rest that to swing through, which is always great.
Yeah.
But you go so wide so that repost doesn't really matter against you at all. And on the defense, you can give a Topper Unison blocker, and you also neg something 15,000 battle. You also neg something 15,000 power in the middle of the battle, which can be helpful. Again against like against that U7 boss monster. I think there was a game where I had a pan and this and like something else on the board. He killed the pan, but he couldn't kill this, and then I was able to neg it by like 15 and eventually like kill it during that battle, which was definitely really good for that. And then two Z extras. These are just the generic red ones. 15,000 power. It turns on explosive dance, just 15,000 power combo. The other active battle can come up against U7, where you can neg their boss card, like neg a card by 25,000 power. It did come up once for me again against U7. But yeah, it's just an overall pretty good generic Z extra card. And then for the sideboard, I have a bunch of my sideboard's actually pretty has a lot of one-offs because Jiren's main board I felt is actually really tight. I didn't want to cut out too many of the engine cards for side because it really can hurt the consistency of the deck. So some things are like you can't really cut. You can't afford to cut your one drops. Can't afford to cut your can't afford to cut the four drops. Could potentially cut the eight drop down to three. But yeah, so like, there's not too much room to side things. So there's a lot of one offs here. So this is a unison I sided. So it's one of the power unisons. It's essentially for it's a two cost unison, empower two. It's essentially a 20k triple attacking unison. So this is just good if your opponent. It's good against Cooler Mill because unisons are good against that deck, and it's good against like yellow and black if they floodgated with Nimbus or Bardock Tenacious. It helps you just get extra swings in. Um, and it helps you get extra swings in under those, so it's pretty handy for those matchups. The one King Vegeta Hidden Ambitions, good against Green Gohan's Free Negate. Also potentially good against like Blue's Dimension Magic. It's a counter one energy counter for an extra card that costs one that was activated without paying its energy cost. So yeah, it's handy for stopping those. The extra Dispo, I think this is my respect for Meki Kabura as well as if I wanted some free defense. One copy of Zorai. So this thing is a blocker. It's got a permanent where bond to it can't be KO'd once per turn if you have like two Universe 11 in play. I think this card was mainly it's like you can like you normally have him in your hand at some point. You can probably discard him at some point or like combo him away from like during the you discard from during the event or just combo him away at some point during the game, and you can resurrect it for free from Pride of Universe 11. This is mainly for green because green's main form of removal is KOing, and if you have something that's protected from KOing once per turn, it just helps because green these days has a lot of like spot removal. So it's just like an on play KO or something. If they use that, they might have trouble clearing this unless they have an overwhelm to deal with it. One copy of Vegeta Royal Evolution. Basically restands your leader, tap on energy, restand your leader, give it 5k power. It's great with Jiren because you have your leader's like 25k almost like all the time. 30k if you use your Jiren 8 restand effects that gives your leader 5k power. So this is just great for that. Around one Topo, Floodgate. This is searchable from the 5 cost, and I guess a lot of the times decks these days aren't really like a lot of the top decks like U7. They're not really respecting they don't really like respect like they don't really have the answer for this. So this card didn't really come up in the tourney, but it was there as like a hard floodgate if I ever needed it. Yeah. One of the yellow kunchis. So this card says all Universe 11 battle cards, including himself, with an energy cost of 2 or less, gain barrier. So similar to the Zoro, you kind of just like discard him, combo him off, and then you resurrect him with Pride. And he gives he himself and all of your like 2 cost or less Universe 11s with energy cost of 2 or less barrier. This is just handy against like board if like especially handy against like Secret Identity or like Blues Cell Awakening of the Creator that can wipe your board or wipe your one drops at least. And the one drops are really important for making sure that you can evolve on your opponent's turn and just continue to gain value. So this is important for that. Two Kotsukais is just pretty standard for like Cooler Mill. Actually, yeah, just mainly Cooler Mill and like Stoli control decks.
Yeah.
One Tabura. I think I only ran this at one because it's not a red card, so my deck already has quite a few non-red cards, and so I didn't want to make charging any harder, and normally I don't have the energy for more than one anyway, so yeah, just had it as one.
I can't imagine there'll be a lot of hand destruction that you'd run into as well, right?
Yeah, not a lot, but it does come in handy against Green Gohan because
Mm,
Green would naturally have some discard effects.
yeah.
So but a lot of the times, yeah, it's like I don't have too much room for siding anyway because against Green Gohan, I want to bring in like a lot of like hidden ambitions anyway. This thing Zoro comes in as well, so it's like there's not too much room anyway. So I just have
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't Potuka. It was like Zoyore. Yeah, Zoyore.
Zora in that. Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah, Dabura. Yeah. Um, Second difference of status. Just just for U7 for Gogeta. It's pretty great where you can for free kill your opponent's like boss monster, and if they, especially if they don't see it coming, it's really good. Second Violent Rays for again for U7, and I have a copy of Flight of the Grand Eagle. This is essentially another like free negate. For the deck, you neg two cards, two of your card 10,000 power, two of your two of your non-token battle cards 10,000 power, and give a card 100,000 power. Normally the card that they're attacking. This can also trigger Pan Grandfather Strength to get the draw one and neg something 20,000 powers for. So it's just a free negate in that regard. And then two copies of Begrudging Allies. I think I just wanted to counterplay in case my opponent like was dropping floodgates or something, or just against control decks. So yeah.
I see what you mean by the amount of black cards that you'd be running.
Yeah. This normally wasn't really sided in unless I was against like Hatchiak and like Cooler Mill or something,
Yeah, gotcha.
where you just need something to handle their floodgates. So yeah.
Awesome, man. That's such a great profile. I'm guarantee I'm gonna probably be like running this, because it looks so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
What made you go for Jiren in the end for Nats?
Yeah. I think like I actually think Jiren is the best red deck at the moment because
Mm,
it just has a lot of things going for it that the other red decks don't have. It has true free play. It's probably one of the most aggressive red decks out there. On turn three, you can get a triple attacking 35k double striker, which is insane. You have free play. You have a lot of tricks to deal with your opponents, like especially like with U7 being the main card, with the main deck that everyone's scared of. As a red deck, you have the most amount of ways to like answer that card defensively because you've got Pan that they have to respect. You've got
mm,
this thing that can neg a 10,000 power. You've got difference of status that can instantly kill it for free. And you've also got your Z card, which is like another 15 minus 15,000 power they have to respect. Um, and also you have barrier removal inbuilt into your deck, so you're not completely caught off guard if your opponent plays a Sin TP, or if they just play their barrier Goku and just sits there. So yeah, for those reasons, I think it has the most like tools. It's the best like red deck that's best positioned in the meta, and it's just also like the Zenith on turn three is just an insane amount of pressure that other red decks just don't have that early.
yeah, actually, wild that card. To this
Yeah.
day, it's still such a big card to run, and like with those Z cards now that it has the more more good support for red basically for Jiren anyway, like you were
Mhm.
saying, gives that more diverse approach in the mechanical system that Jiren needed, as opposed to that straight up format it originally came out with. So it's good to see
Yeah.
that it can kind of stretch out to these sort of possibilities, which is what you've explained and shown today, which is amazing.
Mhm.
Absolutely love
For
it, man.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great, man. Congratulations as well on that third place at Nats, man. Absolutely awesome job. And overall, like, we always love to thank Tac Games for what they do, all
For
the
sure.
support that they put into it and the hard work and everything. Is there any shout outs that you'd love to that you love to give out to anyone?
Yeah, huge shout out to John for winning the event
Yep.
and preventing and making sure that OCE like actually took the title this time.
Yeah, 100%, man,
Uh,
boy. That's the
yeah,
main
that's
thing.
that honestly is the main thing. Shout out to Max because
Mm,
for the last minute testing to help me fix my ratios, honestly. Um, and some of the other boys from my old from my old locals, Jono and Dean, who both made top eight as well. So yeah, shout out to them.
awesome,
And
man.
yeah,
That's great. Is that Jonathan Moore as well?
yeah, Jonathan Moore, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he's been
great
doing
guy.
well in One Piece too. Yeah,
Yeah, he's been killing it.
yeah, it's a great guy, man. Love everyone. It's great to see that the community's still doing like still loving what we're doing and playing this game, man. That's
Mm.
the best thing that that what it's all about. So thank you again, man, for joining me on the channel. It was finally
Thanks for
great to
having me.
yeah, finally great to have you on here, man. I've been wanting to get you on here for a while. We want to get this profile, and it's so good that yeah, we got it now. It's so I hope everyone enjoyed this. Thank you to all our viewers that always tune in. We appreciate that love and support, and always remember to like and subscribe and to hit that bell to stay notified. And we will see you on the next one. Cheers, Alan.
Yes.